Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's Dr. Jan Fortman with Relationship Matters TV. I hope everyone is having a beautifully blessed morning, afternoon, or evening. Well, what happened to me today? Some of you know me, and you know that I have a salt, SALT, kind of allergy. And I've been suffering from vertigo today. Now, for you who don't know what vertigo is, it's when your head is spinning, you can barely hold it up, and it's hard to walk because you might fall. So, I'm usually very, very aware of my salt content. And I went over yesterday, okay, what did I eat? I watched my cholesterol, and also I had egg whites and I had some pancakes. I had like a little small piece of bacon. But so that was all. But maybe about a half an hour later, I had a nice thick slice of banana nut bread covered with bananas and caramel. And it was salted caramel. Well, I wasn't thinking because I have a sweet tooth. So I wasn't thinking. But evidently, those two little combinations sent my head, well, no, don't do your head like that, Jess. Like that. And I thought, oh, well. So now I have to make sure that if I eat caramel, that it's not salted. Anyway, that's that. Well, we're traveling to New Zealand today. And you're probably thinking, New Zealand? How are you going to be in New Zealand? And I'm looking at your background. Looks the same. Virtually, virtually, I'm traveling. We are traveling to beautiful New Zealand. And let me tell you who I have today. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. And I want you to make comments. I want you to ask questions. So let me tell you about my guest. And Lordy, let me pronounce his name right. I'm going to make him pronounce his name. I'll just say Jeff. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to fire your boss? Do you want to exit the rat race? Jeff did. Jeff was a high school dropout and he had $70,000 in debt. But today, he has investments valued at more than 15 million. When I grow up, I want to be just like Jeff. He came from and this is tickle me, a millionaire with an N to a millionaire. He has a thriving health and wellness business, and it has distributed several $100 million of projects globally. Now, he did all of this after he retired. So, we're going to talk about retiring, firing your boss. We're going to talk about what he's up to today, how to partner with him, because I know we all want to become millionaires. So let me bring Jeff on. And when I bring Jeff on, I'm going to have him to pronounce his last name. All righty? Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Dr. Jan. How are you? I was listening to your intro. I thought he sounds really interesting. I hope I can live up to those expectations.
Pronounce your last name.
Well, listen, you can call me Jeff G, but it's pronounced Ghaemaghamy, kind of a silent H. So, yeah, it's kind of tricky.
Ghaemaghamy.
Ghaemaghamy.
Okay.
Ghaemaghamy. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jeff, what time is it in New Zealand?
Well, it's a great question. It's coming up midday or lunchtime on Friday. So I'm kind of in your future. If you're wanting to think about what the lottery is going to be, or maybe the horse races or the stock market, I'm in your future. So I can tell you what's going to happen. And it's a beautiful day here in Auckland.
Oh, that's one for Auckland, New Zealand.
Yes.
So Margaret is in Scotland, and she's saying hello. Yeah.
Well, hello, Scotland. Nice to meet you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, yes. So, Jeff, this is all very interesting. All what you're involved in is all very interesting, all very new, and it's visionary. But before we talk about you getting into your products and your services, how did you get to be $70,000 in debt?
Well, that's an interesting story. So listen, I grew up in the United States. I'm American originally. Um, my mother married a Kiwi, a New Zealander, not a fruit, not the the people call it the kiwi fruit. They come from New Zealand, the kiwi fruit, but married a New Zealander. They call him a Kiwi, and a second marriage back in the early '80s. And we came out to visit actually, and ended up staying. And that's been over 40 years now. We've been in this beautiful part of the world, the South Pacific, around Australia, New Zealand. Um, I was a bit of a rebel. I dropped out of school shortly after arriving here and got a good job washing dishes in a restaurant. I was working for a company called Pepsi. Pepsi owns Pizza Hut and KFC and Starbucks and all those kind of food brands, as well as Pepsi Cola and etc. And I got a job washing dishes in a Pizza Hut. And they saw amazing ability in my dishwashing skills, Jan, and they promoted me into their management system, which basically meant they were desperate for full-time staff. And 5 years later, I was running 5 restaurants. I had 300 staff working for me. I got to hire and fire them, etc. And I was loving it. I loved my job until the day I saved the company $3 million. And this is going back 35 years ago. $3 million of the cost-saving idea, probably $10 million in today's terms, inflation adjusted. And I got a $500 bonus. And I just felt not valued. I felt like I was the oven. I was just a tool to make that company money. And I vowed on that day that I would never, ever, 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 ever work for anybody else ever again. So I fired my boss, right? That's the story you told.
Yeah.
And I started my own business. I thought, I'm going to start my own business. And so I started a small food business, a catering company, catering to birthday parties. We called it the Birthday Delivery Company. We were going to deliver birthday parties to 5-year-olds with clowns and cakes and entertainment, and give mom a glass of wine and she can relax. And we're going to look after all the kids and have fun with them, because we had a young family at the time ourselves. And it was the best idea ever. Like, I mean, and every business is, right. Every person who ever started a business thought it's the best idea ever. Unfortunately, 18 months later, we were $70,000 in debt. The business was not going the way we thought it would be going. We were probably 20, 30 years ahead of our time. Today, maybe it might be a good idea. But so we shut that little business down. I remember asking my accountant, how could have I gotten $70,000 in debt? And he taught me the first lesson in business that I ever learned, and I still hold today as one of my principal values, is that he said, you spent more money than you earned. And I thought, oh yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty basic economics. So we had a couple of little kids under 5. My wife was a registered nurse. We had this business that had failed, and we had this debt, primarily to family and friends who'd kind of believed in us and put money behind us. And it was pretty hard. We were living on mattresses on the floor. We had banana boxes for the kids' clothes and their toys. One day I found a mushroom growing in the carpet of my car. We had this old Honda with a sunroof. We thought it was kind of cool to have a sunroof, but it leaked water when it rained. And the carpet was kind of damp, and there was a mushroom growing in the car. It's like, that's when my life hit rock bottom. I mean, it's easy to laugh about now, but it wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy.
Wow. And so you were in that situation. How did you get out of it?
I want to say that I just, made one decision, it all changed, and but it was a series of things. And sometimes I don't know if people believe in fate or God or the universe, or a bit of both, a bit of all three. We ended up going back to the US. My father was a doctor, he was a surgeon. And so I came from this family that was kind of well off. But I was a rebel. I'm like, I don't want any money from these people. I'm going to do everything myself. And so I went back. My father had died of a heart attack at age 54.
Mm,
It kind of really shook me up a lot. We ended up going back. We were living in Florida, and in a condominium that he had, part of his estate. We could live there for free. My wife was working as a nurse because she could earn good money in the U.S. As a nurse. I was a house dad looking after the kids. These two little kids, little munchkins, and I did a bit of waitering, after work. And then, it sort of, what it sparked is my interest and passion around health and wellness. And I don't know if you believe in accidents or, as I said, fate or the universe or God, but we managed to come across a company that was in the US that was looking to expand into Australia and New Zealand. And we managed to help bring that brand here into the Pacific. That was back 32 years ago. And we really got to work. And I had this sort of focus and discipline. And I had a very motivating mother-in-law who was like, you better feed these grandkids and look after them. And the first year we turned over $1.4 million of products through our business. And then it expanded. And today, I guess we've turned over hundreds of millions of dollars of products throughout the Pacific and into Asia. It's just been so it was a dream come true, but it was really, we wrote down goals and we started to take action. So it wasn't just, and then the universe, God, fate delivered, but it was the action followed by having really, getting really clear on what do we want to do, how do we want to change our life. And we knew, I knew that if I wanted to provide for my family, that I had to change my behavior and change the actions I was taking, make better decisions, right?
okay, yeah.
And so that's kind of the short story. I could, but
Jeff, why there are a lot of people who are interested in health and wellness, and there are different health and wellness path products. Why this particular company?
yeah, so so what happened was my wife, she was a nurse working in one of the hospitals, and her friend one day said, hey, your husband should try this product. I had a really bad acne problem in my skin, like really like just angry, pimply blackheads and whiteheads. It was just horrible. And so my wife just brought this stuff home one day and she just said, use it. And, you just do what your wife tells you. And my skin cleared up. And
Say that again. Wait. Because my husband is sitting. Say that again.
Right. So you just do what your wife tells you.
All right, thank you.
That's the part you like?
Yeah. And that's the line. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sure they have to say the same thing, happy wife, happy life.
That's right.
And so that sort of caused me to become curious about this product line. They had a healthcare product line. That's what although I had a really amazing result first with their sort of, because the skin is an organ of the body, they were doing, things for exterior and internal aging, etc. And I became really fascinated and I really resonated with health and wellness. This product line wasn't in Australia, New Zealand. I thought to myself, gosh, everyone's got skin. Everyone is concerned about their health. At the time, and this is a bit, I don't know if you find this interesting, the audience, but at the time, 30 plus years ago, the baby boomers, the leading edge were just in their early 40s. The youngest were kind of in their 20s. And so we're just at the beginning of this boom around health and wellness and longevity that, 30 plus years ago, there wasn't such a conversation around this or awareness around,
Right.
even people didn't even know what antioxidants were back 30 years ago. It's like, oh, an antioxidant, what's that? Of course, now everyone knows what an antioxidant is. And so we kind of rode a wave of timing as the baby boomers, reached 45 and then 50 and the youngest ones reached, from 20 to 25. As this group kind of aged, 50 to 30 and then 60 to 40 over time, the demand for people looking for products to be healthier, prevention, really grew. And so we had created a great business. And my wife likes to say we did workshops. I
Okay.
did the work. I did the work, and she shopped.
Okay.
Is your husband hearing that too?
Uh-huh.
But I'm really grateful. She shopped for houses, not for handbags. So she took the profits of our business and she invested it, and she invested really well. And so that has sort of created that $15 million in property and assets that you mentioned in the intro. It's really all credit to her. But we first had to take the cash flow from our business, and then not just spend that and look good, like driving Porsches and wearing Rolexes and having fancy. It's not, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having a fancy
Yeah.
lifestyle, but my wife understood that you don't spend the profit of a business, you spend the dividend or you spend the profit of the investment. And so she took the money, put it in investments, and then from that investment, as the investment started to grow and have babies, then we bought fancy cars and watches, and we traveled, and we retired. Actually, for the last 10 or so years, we were retired. And so in our sort of mid 40s, we retired and had this amazing life. We went to Antarctica and river cruises from Budapest to Amsterdam, and we visited all sorts of African safaris, and ballooning over Turkey, and all sorts of, you can imagine, lots and lots of fun things we did. Yeah, it's an amazing life. But going back to is when people right now where you're at, is first you've got to write down and be clear on where you're going. My mentor said to me, this is 30 plus years ago, Jeff, write down and design your life as if I was a magic genie. If you walk down the beach and there's this beautiful golden beach, and you see this kind of thing glimmering just in the edge of
Yeah.
the water, and you go over and pick it up, and it's kind of full of sand. You kind of rub it off, and I pop out. Right, I'm a magic genie, and I
Yeah.
say, your wish is my command. Write down 101 goals, design your perfect life. What could you do? Where would you go? Who could you be? What contribution? I think a really important part of goal setting is your contribution. What can you contribute in the world? What difference do you want to make? If everyone just picked one, you can pick more, but if you just picked one cause that you're passionate about and said, well, how can I make a difference with that? If everyone did that, the world could work for 100% of people. There would be no poverty. There would be no, we would have a world that worked. Instead of just being me, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with nice things, but if we all said, okay, let's take some from me, but let's give a bit back. A friend of mine taught me, when your hand is open and you're giving, when it's giving, you're also open to receive. When you hold your money tight, your hand's also closed to receive. And so, what could you contribute in the world? What difference could you make? And so my mentor said, write 101 goals, and I'm like, wow, that's hard. I thought it would be easy, but it was actually quite hard. And he said to me, it's an exercise in deservability, right?
Oh, I like that.
Do you deserve to have the life you can create in your mind? And we get told, this is, I'm sure, you talk about relationship expert, and I love, love, love what you do. When you told me what you do, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just so needed in the world. But when people get very, very clear about what they want, and they do this deservability exercise, they start to realize it's hard, because we get told no so often when we're growing up. Those first 7 years, when we develop who we are as human beings, our mom, can I have this toy? No. Can I go to the park? No. Can I go to see my friend? No. Can I? No, 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 no. And then we grow up and we're able to have everything, but in our mind, a little voice in our head is saying no. And so we stop ourselves from manifesting, or I like the word womanifesting for your female audience. We stop ourselves from the potential we can reach and achieve in life, because of our mindset that we've been programmed with. And so, yeah, anyway, this is stuff that fascinates me anyway. So I did this exercise in deservability, and it's amazing. Once you're clear, again, the universe, God, fate, whatever you believe in, starts to put opportunities in front of you, and then you have to take action, right?
Definitely.
You can have all the, potential in the world, but if you don't take action, massive action, then nothing happens. And take some risks. And sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. I had to reinvent myself. I am not the person today that I was, back then. I had to change. I had to, I started reading books, and modeling myself. If I took someone who I admired and said, well, how would they speak? How would they stand? How would they, what would they do? And I had to
Mm-hmm.
start behaving, as where I wanted to be, as opposed to my natural state of being kind of rebellious,
Okay.
high school dropout, kind of guy. I wasn't into any mischief, but I was, I definitely was rebellious. You know,
Yeah.
uh, if there was a smooth track in life and a goat track, I took the goat track.
Okay. And I love what you're saying. And this is all about relationships. You know what I'm saying? That first relationship actually pushed you in, you know, fortunately, you saved the company that much money. And so that relationship that you had with your boss, even though it was kind of, like in a negative light, it really turned out positive. Then you talk about the collaboration and the partnership with your wife, who really put you on this track, you know, and the fact that you're in health and wellness, which is all about the relationship. And you talked about the relationship with you, yourself, in that you had to change. So we have a question here from Jacqueline Rogers. She says, how does that go with being pragmatic? Does it make sense?
Well, I'm a very pragmatic person. So I am someone who, I like the facts, the figures. I'm more cautious. Often people say, I don't believe that, but I'm more cautious. My wife is much more, let's have a go. I'm much
Okay.
more like, let's make sure, I want to make sure, I don't, because again, growing up, we often are told, and this is probably part of this, this is a longer conversation that we have probably today, but we get taught in school, don't fail, right? Get an A or get a B or whatever the new system is today that they go. And so we're taught that failure is bad. And when we're taught that failure is bad, we often get pushed into, I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to make a mistake. So I don't want to I don't want to venture out and fail. And so we get trapped in this little box. And that's why so many people who are very smart, very capable, like much more capable and entrepreneurial than I could be, get stuck in that little box of, I'm going to be an employee because it's safe. It's safe. It's pragmatic. It's secure, so-called secure, etc. You often see, and my observation has been that the C and D students own the companies, right? The A and B students, the A students run the companies, and the B and C students, the B students are the ones who work there. And so, why is it that the people, the Bill Gates of this world who dropped out of school, or these type of people can go on to have these mega successes? Because they just aren't scared of failure. They've failed at school, or they failed at things, and thought, you know what, that doesn't stop me from achieving my goals. Whereas when we're in that mindset of, I must not fail, I must get an A, we kind of put ourselves in that box. I don't know if that makes sense, if that answers your question about being pragmatic, but I think we do have to be pragmatic. We don't want to make bad decisions, but sometimes you have to make a mistake to
Yeah.
learn. And if you don't, children, when they're learning to walk, they fall, and then they get up again because they're focused on their goal of walking. Or when they want to ride a bike, they fall over, many, many times before they learn balance. If we were pragmatic, we'd say, oh no, we're not going to do that because they could skin their knee. That we're never going to put them on a bike. We're never going to have the children walk. And so I think there's kind of I don't know. I'm not sure if that makes sense. That's my point of view anyway.
Okay. So, what I want to do time goes by so fast. But I want for you to talk about where you are now, and this sounds like outer space. Project Helix. Oh, wait a minute. She's got one more question. Oh, hold on. Okay, she says,
All right.
oh, one more question. What is your view of college?
Okay. So listen, I'm a real fan of education. Okay. Although I'm not formally educated, I don't even have a high school diploma, right? I don't have a university or college education. But I am a real fan of education. And whether that education be via college, whether it be via trade, whether it be the education of life, etc. I think what I've observed now and what I've come to know about education, it's more about the discipline of completing what you say you're going to do. Okay, so when you go and your lecturer at university or college says, okay, here's an exam, or here's a paper you're going to write, and here's your time frame. It's not so much about that, can you write that, or can you gain that knowledge? Because today you can use AI and ChatGPT to do all those kind of things, and
Yeah.
it's really more someone who has a PhD versus someone who has a master's versus someone who has a degree, an honors degree versus someone who has a degree versus someone who doesn't, right? To me, is kind of a scale of the person with the PhD had focus, determination, and discipline to complete what they said they're going to complete. No different than someone who's a black belt had the discipline to complete to that level versus a white or a yellow belt, for example. And so I think education is really important. But just because it's from college does not mean, you're going to have a great life. I think the lie, and in my book that I'm writing, that I've been writing for a while, in the first chapter, it says, have you been told the lie? Get a good education, get a good job, and you have a good life. How's that working for you? That really worked for our parents and our grandparents, maybe our great-grandparents, but that's not necessarily going to guarantee a great life today. In fact, by the time people get past college and they have all this student debt, and then they find it that what they studied is now almost irrelevant because of the speed of knowledge and technology and what's changing, that people have to be able to reinvent themselves and pivot. So I'm really a fan of education in college. So don't tell your kids, oh, I heard this guy Jeff, he's a high school dropout. Just drop out and go and start, selling stuff or whatever. But I do think that education is important. So.
Okay. So I got to take a quick commercial, but when we come back, I want us to get into this product that's setting health and wellness on fire. And ladies, we're going to talk about something that I'm using also. You are going to thank me, and you're going to thank Jeff. This is something that, and I don't use a lot of, I don't fall for, I should say, try a lot of different things, but this is something that I thought, what? We got to talk about this. And the title of it is Project Helix. So we're going to come right back right after this. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
We are back, and I'm going to bring Jeff right back. Not going to even talk about it, but just to let you know, I will be doing the welcome address to maybe about 750 students. Mark your calendar. All right, we're back, Jeff. Let's talk about Project Helix.
Okay, I'm a little bit excited about this. So I have recently come out of retirement. And a lot of people are like, you did what? You came out of retirement? Why? Because we're living a pretty good life. And it's not for financial, although we're not the richest people in the world, but we're pretty safe and secure, let's just say. And this project I'm so excited about because I think we could impact 1 billion people on the planet. And so when I first met you, Janice, we got talking about this, and you were like, really? And and that's what's kind of led to today. So let me just share a little bit about what it's about. And I think the audience is going to be excited. I hope you're as excited as I am about this. So the company that I helped bring into Australia and New Zealand, a company called NSE, they contacted me about a year ago, and they said, we'd like to know if you'd like to come out of retirement and be part of a core team. We are looking to disrupt the $2 trillion health, wellness, and beauty industry with some new technology. And I was kind of like, okay, well, what's it all about? And they said, listen, we'd love you to come to the US and come and learn more. And so my wife and I flew to the US. We're curious. And I got to tell you, what I saw blew my mind, like literally. The health and wellness industry today, as I said, $2 trillion. That's about 10 times the size of the computer industry. That's about 30 times the size of the cell phone industry. So it's just massive. And what they said they were doing is they were investing $1.2 billion in developing an app which was powered by AI. This app, similar to Noom or MyFitnessPal, you could consider something like that if you want to put something in your mind as a reference point. This app would allow consumers for the first time to order a DNA assessment, a microbiome assessment to measure gut health. They were going to be able to have self-assessments around mental wellness, cognitive function, IQ, personality, stress, anxiety, sleep, through to physical wellness. How are your joints? How's your libido? How is your weight? And these types of things. You could attach your wearable tech. So if you had a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring or the new Samsung Galaxy Ring coming out that measures your steps and your sleep and your stress, your heart rate. Soon, they're talking about blood sugar. That's going to be a game changer for biometrics. They also had this little device, this cool little device. And this is the one that Jan was talking about, that she grabbed one of these and she's having some fun with. It's early days, but we're going to stay tuned. We're going to watch the progress. This little device, physically, we've called it the fat zapper, right? And physically, it helps to break down fat and cellulite. Backs of arms, tummies, legs, bottoms, anything that wobbles. And also supports a healthy lymphatic system. It is really amazing at helping to increase beta endorphins and our natural oxytocin levels that our body produces, which helps mitigate pain, relaxing muscles, so sore necks, sore knees, sore elbows, shoulders, backs, all these type of things. It's a pretty cool device. But what they've done that I'm really excited about is in these little peanut-shaped nodes, they have built sensors. And so some of you have gone to the gym before and you hold the little metal rods and you put your bare feet on this thing and it sends a pulse to your body and it can measure your visceral fat, right? Which is the fat that surrounds your organs. Your subcutaneous fat, that's the stuff you can pinch, the inch you can pinch or more around the tummy and bits and pieces. Maybe it measures your muscle mass, your hydration. This can measure up to 300 different markers inside of the body. And what they're going to do, and this is what you're saying about space. This is a little bit Star Trek. They're going to create a digital twin. Here is you today, right? And here is you optimized. So how can we optimize every part of your health? How can we optimize your mental wellness, right? So you had better memory and cognition. How can we optimize your stress and anxiety? Reducing stress and anxiety, increasing quality of sleep, these type of things. How could we optimize your joint health and your physical health? What foods to eat? What foods to avoid? Using drip education and gamification to make it fun, to help just slightly change behavior, right? To help you live your best life. And I think, and the last thing we're going to do is with this DNA and microbiome and all the data that's by permission and following HIPAA laws. So none of this data is shared or given to anybody else. That'll be the first question people ask. It was my first question. Is they'll be able to create a personalized little nutrition pack customized to each individual customer, a formula for me, which is different than you, Dr. Jan, or different from Sandy, who's just put a message up, or different than my wife. And so this is a really exciting project where for the first time, we can make products designed based on the deficiencies that people have to optimize health. And I'm not sure if the audience has seen the documentary on Netflix called The Blue Zones, which is kind of where they've mapped around the world where people live. They live beyond 100.
Yeah.
What if we could all live in the blue zones? We start to think about health as, well, we sort of hit our 50s and then our 60s, and we start to decline in our 70s. We're declining in our 80s and we're kind of fading out, right? How many of you want to fade out? Like, kind of fade out like a dimmer switch? Or do you want to live life full on and then pop? And I'm a big fan of the saying that, we all enter the world in diapers, but no one wants to leave in diapers. And so how do we help optimize people's health, give them personal responsibility around their health, and empower people with tools and products and things that are actually designed for you, not I don't know what's right for me. We're even going to be able to measure on a quarterly basis with a bit of saliva testing. Is it working? Are you optimizing? Maybe in the wintertime, we could put a bit of immune formula in there. Maybe as my wife has gone through perimenopause, her nutritional needs are totally different today than they were 5 years ago. Men go through menopause. We all, we go through different hormonal changes as we age. And what if we could help to balance that? And I'm, what I think, and I don't want to keep rambling on, please interject whenever you like, because I could just talk forever. I think that most people realize that the health system, our allopathic medical system, which I'm very grateful for, isn't working in many respects. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, mental wellness, obesity. We could go on and on and on. We're not seeing a decline in these types of disorders. A drug from a pharmaceutical company may do a great job at helping with one thing, but because of the nature of synthetic chemicals they're using in these, it may cause another problem. And so we're seeing this sort of chain reaction. And I think that we'll look back in 100 years or so and go, look at what they did back in the 20th century. Wasn't that interesting, the experiment they tried to do?
So let me ask you a couple of questions.
For sure. Go ahead.
So let's go back to the beginning where you said it'll create a digital twin, so to speak. Now, so you take all of these assessments by what, wearing a device, or how does it do the assessments?
Okay, great question. So a little saliva test. Maybe some people have done Ancestry.com, for example. You get a little test tube kit. You just
Okay.
give a bit of saliva and then a little swab, and they're able to measure your DNA and your microbiome actually from saliva. One of the gifts of PCR testing now is that they can now measure in saliva almost all the same biomarkers you can measure in blood. Your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, your cholesterol levels, all of the different nutrients levels in your body, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so we can then look at the saliva sample, combining the saliva sample with DNA, microbiome, and these type of enzymes and things. We can look at the biometrics from the Fitbit or the Apple Watch or the Garmin ring or the Oura ring and see behavior, what's happening. We can go with the self-assessments and see where people feel they're at with their, little quizzes on cognition or quizzes on mental wellness or, questionnaires on stress and anxiety and sleep. And then this can kind of look inside the body and we can see what's happening internally. And all of that data combined, they're going to create this. I have a little video. I don't know if I can share it. I'm looking here to see if there's a share screen button. Oh, maybe there's present.
Down at the bottom.
Can I do that? Would you like me to see if I can? Let me see if I can share screen. Let's see if that works. Share screen. Does it give me an option to? It does give me an option.
Yeah. How long is the video?
It's like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Let me just see if I can find it. Keep talking, and I'll. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. I found it.
Oh,
I found it.
Okay.
Let me just. I'm going to share the screen.
Okay.
Okay. This is a little example here. So let's just,
okay, hold on. Let me.
So here I am in Tokyo. Now, this is the home.
Sorry, I'm mad.
The at-home.
In the decades ahead, healthcare will undergo dramatic transformations. Medicine will become more precise. Value will shape care delivery. Patients will become empowered consumers. And digitalization will transform every facet of healthcare. Patients will have a digital twin, a customized computational model of themselves, enabling Dr. Clive to anticipate illness, guide therapy options, and predict outcomes of procedures. Expanding precision.
There we go. That's just a little bit. That's just kind of a. Oops. How do I get out of here now?
Oh, well, they can't see it.
Oh, no one can see this.
Yeah, well, they saw the video.
Okay,
they can't
that's right.
see it now because I took the share off.
Okay, great, perfect. Okay, let me just. I'll come back to us. So here we go. There we go. So that's kind of the concept, and it's exciting.
So Jeff, what? Because I want to get these questions. Is what if you already have, like a lot of people, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, or how is this going to help with that? I mean, I can see where the digital twin shows you what you have. Whatever's going on within your body. That's the first part. The second part is you said something about synthetic drugs, so to speak. So in these capsules, is there anything synthetic in that, or is that all natural? So that's both of those questions.
Okay, gotcha. Great questions. Fantastic questions. So firstly, we will be able to identify where people are at. We are not here to replace the medical profession or healthcare professionals at all. We're not going to make claims about we're going to cure cancer or cure heart disease or we're going to lower your blood pressure, because we can't, as a nutritional company, make medical claims, and we're not going to do that. But what we can do is a digital twin can identify where there are areas of concern, and we can create, using a science called epigenetics, which is a really cool science. And if anyone has not researched that or learned about that, go and Google EPI genetics, and you'll be blown away. It was kind of a neat, not neat. It was a fascinating discovery by some Swedish scientists, as the human genome was mapped 20 odd years ago. these Swedish scientists asked a great question. Is our future of healthcare genetically already pre-programmed, or is there a way to alter that? And what they asked the question is, what about identical twins? And identical twins have exactly the same DNA, but it turns out that they may have different allergies. They may have different eyesight. One may get a cancer the other does not get, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it turned out that they discovered that our genes have these, this is a little oversimplified. If there's any healthcare professionals, you'd be like, that's not exactly true. But as a broad example, think of them like switches. If you came to my home, we've got 2 boxer dogs. We are boxer dog crazy people. And so if you're allergic to dogs, your immune system might turn on like a switch, and you might have sneezing and itching and allergies, et cetera. And when the dog leaves or you leave, it turns off again. That's epigenetics. Or if you go in the sun, our sun, the skin turns on our melanocytes or our melanin, the tan we get, right? And so when you're in the sun, it turns on. We get that darker pigmentation. When we're out of the sun, it turns off again. I've got a few gray hairs. Some are dark and some are gray. What happened? The pigmentation or the color in that hair follicle got turned off. Epigenetics is, could we create a plant-based formula to turn it back on again? Okay. And so what we're going to do is, once we have all this digital twin data on each person by permission, protected by HIPAA laws, then we can create plant-based formulas. And this is the second part of your question, not synthetics, plant-based formulas that can help to help your genes express themselves or behave as if they're younger or in the right state. And that's part of this epigenetic thing. And so we're not here to cure or diagnose disease, but there will be lots of support for people. People will feel really supported with their health and wellness. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense. I want to be very careful. We're not here to,
Right.
really clear. We're not here to diagnose, cure, or
Right.
take the place of a doctor or healthcare professional. The data can be, they're working on, downloaded to your doctor, so your doctor can look at that digital twin and monitor what's happening with the data to work alongside the app. So it's really exciting.
So Sandy wanted to know, is because she watched the video, we saw a little something. She said, is it implanted behind the ear or somewhere in the body?
Yeah, so that's you're very observant, and that video is not the exact what's happening with us, but that is future tech coming. So we won't have a patch at this point. Right now, we'll use a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or an Oura Ring, the new rings coming out, the Samsung Galaxy Ring, to monitor those it's called biometric data. But in the future, yeah, they could be a small patch that can measure all those things, as opposed to wearing jewelry of some sort. Okay.
Okay, and then she made the comment about pharmaceutical companies will lose money and they won't be happy. That's very true. And Gwendolyn Dunbar, her question: if someone follows your program, can a person have a longer life expectancy?
Okay, so listen, I think optimally that's the hope, that we all live life healthier longer. I can't make the statement, are you going to live longer? Because I don't know how long your genes are set to live right now. So I think that's kind of one of those questions of, we don't know. Will people live to, 100, 110, 120? Again, I don't know. But what I do know is that our bodies are miracles. I know that when I cut my finger, my DNA knows how to put me back together. When you break a bone, your DNA knows how to put you back together. If our bodies have all the right nutrients and all the right, building blocks, and it's not just our foods, it's not just what we intake, into our digestive tract that goes into our bloodstream that feeds every cell. It's also what we think. If we have, and this is your expertise, Dr. Jen, if we holistically look at us and give every part of our body all of the right components, nutrients, thoughts, etc., can our bodies live longer? I think it's potentially true. We are living longer as a species, we're living, our longevity, more people are living to over 100 than ever before. Are they living a better quality of life? No. We're seeing people in care facilities and not living a quality of life. And so the hope is, can we help people optimize? I love the word optimize their health. What foods to eat, what foods to avoid, create personalized nutrition. Maybe, and we can measure this every quarter. We can give people little test kit to measure. Maybe they start out with these 7 tablets, but maybe 6 or 12 months in, they're eating better, more organic foods, different types of foods that are better for them. They're exercising, lost a bit of weight, they reduced their stress, they're getting better quality sleep. Maybe they only need half of this. And so we can have integrity, give people what they need when they need it.
I like that because we only got 8 minutes. I like that because Maxine and I, who's on here, who's watching, after we work out, we have a little light breakfast, and we pull out our little packets, and we call them our drugs. And it might be, all of these different vitamins and supplements. Now, the difference is what you're talking about is that, like, what you would have her, depending on her biometrics, what she would take, because her body is different from mine.
Absolutely.
And what I would take, totally different. Because what we do is we see, okay, we need vitamin D, we need that vitamin C, we need this, we need that, we need the other. And maybe one of those we don't need. In other words, we really don't know what we do need because we're basing it on, what we see on TV or whatever, what the masses are doing. So I really like that. And before we go, yes, I'm using the fat zapper, people.
Stay tuned. We're not going to recognize her. It's going to be like,
because what I told Jeff about our flags, and ladies, you know what your flags are. And I'm trying to get rid of these flags. And I've been doing all of these exercises to get rid of these things up under here. And I've started using that, and I noticed a little difference. But what I want to tell everyone is, and I'm only using it on one arm so I can see the difference. So what I want to tell everyone is, when I really see that, oh, wow, it really got rid of my flag, I'm going to let you all know. Oh, yeah, right.
I got some examples. I've got so many examples of I literally have hundreds of examples of people sending in. This is a brand new device. It's actually FDA cleared as a medical device in the US, but it's just phenomenal. Where's the one I want to show you? I have one here. This is a little bit larger woman, but look at the difference, left and right, just one arm.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
But don't be patient. It doesn't happen overnight. Everyone's body's a bit different. That's helping the lymphatic system work effectively, and it helps to break down the fat and cellulite. So it's kind of cool, It is. It definitely is.
Wow. And so, because we got 4 minutes.
Arms, legs, anything that wobbles.
Well, look, Sandy, we got wobbles.
Just keep in mind, listen, it took us sometimes decades to get where we're at. Just be a bit patient. It's not going to happen. What does it say? It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen, right?
Oh, so. My goodness gracious. And just before we go, we have Trajectory TV. Hello, everyone. Yes, Trajectory TV. You have quite a few viewers, and they'll all see this. Jeff, we got 2 minutes. This has gone by so fast. If they want to reach you.
I'm so grateful that you've had me on. It's just been fun. I really enjoyed it.
If they want to reach you, they can reach you right across on LinkedIn, and you can find out how to, because there's a partnership with this. So, like in 1 minute, tell them about the partnership.
Okay. So listen, we're going to market this through an affiliate-based marketing strategy, which basically means people like an Uber driver or an Airbnb host, people can register. They can share the app. The app is not available yet. It's going to happen next year. So this is kind of like you're learning about something before it happens. I'm sorry for some people, although we can get our little zappers now. And then there's also, we'll have the ability of people to build a network or a network marketing opportunity where people can partner and develop teams of affiliates. So affiliates can earn 20% just by sharing the app, and and anything purchased, a DNA assessment or microbiome, and they can earn extra cash, like a little side hustle, side gig. People who want to develop teams can get a hold of me and we can explain. I've got a little video that kind of explains more, and maybe that would be a great place to start if you're curious. But it's something we think we can disrupt the industry. It's not just another super duper product. It's something made for each individual. And we really believe we can make an impact. And as I said, 1 billion people around the world. The two apps, MyFitnessPal and Noom, had 300 million downloads in the last few years. We think we can impact 1 billion people to help them live healthier longer. And that's really my main objective, is how can we help people and support them? So,
Jeff, thank you so much. And you know, once that zaps my flag and I'm not waving in the breeze.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna,
We call it the second wave down here. You say goodbye and you get a second goodbye. I like the flag. The flag is quite funny. That's hilarious.
But Jeff, thank you so much. This has been so interesting. The time just went by so fast. There was a couple other questions, but we're not going to be able to get them in because we got 1 minute. But thank you so much, Jeff. I encourage, it's along the bottom. And if you haven't written it down, you know you can always see the replay on YouTube, E360 TV, and other platforms. So you can reach out to Jeff and you can get more information. And I will let you know what's happening with me. Yes, Maxine, Tommy's too. Girl, we're going to be looking so good this summer. So Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you for coming to us in the future, because he's in New Zealand and it's Friday in New Zealand and it's about 1 p.m. So thank you again, Jeff, so much. This has been extremely informational, motivational, and inspirational.
Well, I'm so grateful to you and to your community to sit and listen in, and I'm looking forward to supporting anyone with in any way they can. Let's go out there. Here's my last statement. I think this is fun. What if we could create a movement that could go on, create a spark that creates a movement that goes on. Today's a spark, right? That could create a movement that goes on to impact 1 billion people on the planet. So thank you so much. And thank you to all the listeners. And I look forward to connecting. Please reach out on LinkedIn, say hello, connect, or you can find me also, my last name, on Facebook if you like. That's another place you can find me. All right.
So have a beautiful, blessed rest of your day, Jeff.
You too. Bye, Dr. Jen.
All right. Bye-bye. Wow, this has been great. The Fat Zapper. I will let you all know when my stomach goes down and it's not wobbling anymore. And then when I've got rid of my flags, I will let you all know. You'll probably tell me, girl, go somewhere and sit down. So look, if you have a guest that you think would be interesting to my audience, all you have to do, or if you'd like to come on the show yourself, Sandy Barney Ennis, if you would love to come on the show yourself, all you have to do is just reach out to me at Jan4Now125. No, relationshipmatterstv@gmail.com. Or you can call me at 1-877-667-SPEAK. So I will see you again next week on Relationship Matters TV. And I want you to remember, there are all kinds of relationships and all kinds of relationship matters. See you next time. Bye-bye.